The News 4 Rundown starts now.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the News 4 Rundown. I'm Sean Yancey. It is Thursday, June 25th. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following for you tonight. A fight over a speeding ticket. A local lawyer took the case to court and won. Now his victory could help D.C. drivers avoid unnecessary fines. Plus, celebrating Pride and America's 250th, we're exploring the impact of queer voices throughout American history. We'll introduce you to a revolutionary leader who helped shape our nation. And then A.J. Debonce's district debut. Fans got to meet the Wizards' #1 pick, and now we know what number the young star will wear when he hits the court in Washington. We'll explain why he chose to rock the #4. But we begin this evening with preparations for our nation's 250th birthday. The Great American State Fair kicked off on the National Mall today. It's transformed the area with road closures, detours, and plenty of construction. And now the event is finally underway. News 4's Mauricio Casillas spent the day at the fair.
Day one of the Great American State Fair, and one of the main attractions that folks were so excited to check out that they had the chance to do a little bit earlier is shut down at the moment. So the Ferris wheel here on the National Mall, we're told, is not working at the moment because of an issue with the generator. Crews are working on fixing that at the moment. We did see long lines here earlier. Now let's show you what it looks like a little bit further down the National Mall towards the Capitol. You can see those fields there. Plenty of camera crews set up, plenty of different booths for people to do things. There was a rodeo that took place between 4 and 5 p.m. That's something that you can expect daily here for the Great American State Fair. Now, I got to say, one factor, something that everyone has been talking about today, has been the heat. We've seen people fanning themselves. We've seen people talking about how it's been a little bit uncomfortable. You know, sunscreen is a must. Those fans are a must. But people are still happy to be here. The booths that I mentioned, there are some set up for different states and different territories across the country. It's worth noting that some state governments opted not to participate, but other entities from within those states have filled in. We checked out the DC one, which is cool. People were able to win prizes and merchandise and get a chance to learn more about the district. And in speaking with folks here today, I'd say the majority are tourists, people from different states, but plenty of people from the DMV as well. And in talking to them, they say that, you know, they're really excited to be able to be here and commemorate such an important milestone for the country.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. You know, everything has been so sort of negative, you know, lately. But seeing something like this, I think, lifts everyone's spirits. Like, I feel very patriotic right now.
I think it's awesome. I mean, America only turns 251, so it's really cool to be able to celebrate it.
I'm a bicentennial baby, and I was born in 1976, and my whole life everyone's like, you're going to enjoy when you're 50 because there's going to be a huge celebration. I'm like, okay, here's a celebration. I'm here.
What have you thought about it so far?
It's really fun. I'm excited for the next 16 days of this.
And if you're planning on heading out here a little bit later, it's going to be open until 11 o'clock tonight. And the Great American State Fair will be continuing until July 10th. And on the 4th of July, you can expect it to be busy, but it'll also be open a little bit later until midnight. Reporting on the National Mall, Mauricio Casillas, News 4.
All right, thanks, Mauricio. We want to take you live now to Reagan National Airport. Some passengers are concerned about flight restrictions as we get closer to the 4th of July. Now, we first told you airport operations will be affected, especially on July 3rd and 4th, because of activities related to the nation's celebration of the 250th birthday. News 4 transportation reporter Adam Tuss has been following all the details since the beginning. He's at Reagan tonight with the latest.
Yeah, well, obviously a lot of questions about what's going to happen here at Reagan National Airport for July 3rd and 4th when it comes to flights. Here's what we can say for certain. On those days, there are going to be some pretty severe flight restrictions. If you are flying out of this airport on either of those days, the best advice is to start checking with your airline right now to make sure everything is still a go. As we get ready to celebrate with fireworks and flyovers, there are growing concerns about air travel around the weekend of July 4th. One post on X reads, "Hey, Delta and Reagan Airport, flights are canceled for much of July 3rd and 4th, but a flight into DCA late on 7/4 still shows in your system as A-OK, and no one contacted us about any change cancellation." Well, Delta tells us they'll check on this claim and work with the customer if the situation warrants. Now, we've spoken with a number of airlines today, and they tell us flights that are still scheduled right now for those days should still go. And that's the reason why certain change fees have not been waived. American telling us earlier this year, we adjusted our schedule at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport on July 3rd and 4th due to Federal Aviation Administration flight restrictions. Customers impacted by the schedule change were informed at that time and have been rebooked on new flights. United says we planned for this restriction and scheduled accordingly so that there is no expected customer impact. Well, the head of Freedom 250, the organizer of the events around the nation's 250th birthday, explains why such a huge security perimeter is necessary.
This is going to be the biggest fireworks in history. You're going to have to trust me on that. I mean, it is going to be probably 5x of anything that has ever happened right here. We're going to blow it off in 18 locations, I believe.
No flights expected to take off or land at Reagan after noon on the 4th. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy at a recent event for United stressing that all the restrictions will be worth it.
In a time where we can sometimes be a bit divided, our birthday of this great country unites us. It brings us together.
An eventful week coming up for our area. Just plan out your travel carefully. At Reagan National Airport, Adam Tufts, News 4.
The Freedom 250 Grand Prix is now just a few weeks away. The two-day motorsport event is part of America's 250th celebration. Spectators will be able to enjoy world-class racing set against the iconic backdrop of the district. Organizers stopped by News 4 midday to share their inspiration behind the event.
This is a dream of mine less than a year ago to bring a race to our nation's capital to celebrate our 250th anniversary. And now we get to do that in grand style. Imagine racing down Pennsylvania Avenue, Constitution Avenue, Independence Avenue, in front of the Washington Monument, in front of our country's Capitol building. You're going to see that here with the best drivers in the world, 59 days away.
We also learned today there will be a star-studded International Race of Champions exhibition Saturday, August 22nd, ahead of that main event on the 23rd. All right, now to some of the other stories we're following tonight. Humanitarian groups across the world are joining the search and rescue mission in Venezuela after two deadly earthquakes yesterday. Right now, at least 188 people are dead. The U.S. Geological Survey predicts as many as 10,000 lives could be lost. What you're looking at now are crews with Virginia Task Force 1 from Fairfax County preparing to head to Venezuela. World Central Kitchen is also heading to the area to help out. In Danville, Virginia, the man who admitted to setting a city council member on fire last July was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Police say Shotzi Buck Hayes went to Lee Vogler's personal office, doused him in gasoline and napalm, and then set him on fire. The men were friends. Hayes said he attacked Vogler for having an affair with his ex-wife. Vogler suffered second and third degree burns to 60% of his body. DHS is calling out Virginia. They said sanctuary politicians released a Nicaraguan man from custody 2 years ago. Moises Rico Rosales had a felony drug charge back in 2024, but those charges were dropped. Tonight, he is back in custody on charges of indecent exposure and abduction with intent to defile. Rico Rosales has a preliminary hearing scheduled for August. A judge sentenced a D.C. woman to 29 years in prison for causing this crash that killed 3 men. Nikita Walker was convicted of 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter. In 2023, she was driving 100 miles per hour before she crashed into a car being driven by a Lyft driver with 2 passengers. That collision killed all 3 men. If you've ever received a speeding ticket from a traffic camera in the district, you might want to listen up. After a 3-year court battle, a local attorney successfully challenged a $100 ticket after he discovered traffic cameras have an error rate. Well, now that court ruling could pave the way for a class action lawsuit. News 4's Mark Seagraves sat down with Martin Astermule, the Notice reporter who first broke the story, to discuss this court ruling.
Why did this guy appeal his ticket?
So he, being both a lawyer and a guy who knows computer programming, started looking into it, and he found out that these cameras have a margin of error of plus or minus 1 mile an hour. So he thought, well, if I'm at 61, I could just as well have been going 60, which is kind of within that 10 mile an hour grace area, and I shouldn't be getting a ticket. So he fought the argument through both the DMV, which is your first level of appeal, and then through the court system, and finally he got the court system to agree with him. So the DC Court of Appeals said, yeah, there was a margin of error. The city couldn't prove that he was actually going 11 miles an hour over the speed limit like they originally claimed.
This has the possible impact for thousands of people who have gotten tickets that are at that 1 mile per hour cusp. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the majority of people who get speeding tickets in the district get them for going 11 to 15 over the speed limit. That's something like 1.9 million tickets a year out of the 3.5 million traffic camera tickets across the board. But you can get higher fines if you're going 16 to 20 over, or if you go 21 to 25 over, you're paying hundreds of dollars in fines. And, you know, there's arguments for that. But his appeal could play into other people who maybe they get caught going 17 over, and they can say, well, technically I wasn't going 17 over because of this margin of error. Maybe it was 16, maybe it was 15, so I have to get the lower fine, not the higher one.
As a reporter, I kicked myself that I didn't think to ask this question years ago. I mean, why is this the first guy? We've had speed cameras for years now. Why did it take this long for someone to look at this margin of error?
Well, I think it's two things. Both, he's an attorney, so he kind of has the time, he knows his way around the law, and he represented it himself, so he didn't have to pay for a lawyer, and he didn't have to put the cost up himself. Second of all, he told me he was into computer programming before he went to law school, so he understood the technicalities here. And he knew that there was a margin of error to everything. He was able to find it, he was able to find the exact number, and then build the case on that. So it took kind of the fact that he was a really quirky guy who was very committed to this cause.
I guess, and you've heard from other motorists who are now looking to appeal their tickets based on this guy's ruling?
Well, not even motorists. I've heard from other lawyers, other attorneys. There's one attorney I spoke to who works for a firm that specializes in class action lawsuits, and they started looking into this now based on this ruling to see, is there a universe of drivers out there that have had the same experience that could be a class for a bigger lawsuit against a district to potentially get money back for tickets they've already paid for. So I think some drivers have told me that they've appealed and they've been successful now. But I think it's more interesting to see how lawyers are going to take this case up and run with it.
A spokesperson for DDOT sent a statement to News 4 that said, in part, the Riccardi case centers on regulatory requirements that have not kept pace with technology and current standards, rather than the accuracy or effectiveness of the program. DDOT is reviewing regulatory and administrative changes to accurately reflect the current state of operations and standards. Coming up here on the Rundown, the question is, will today's beautiful weather stick around for Friday? Storm Team 4 meteorologist Amelia Draper is tracking that for us tonight.
Looking at your wake-up weather tomorrow, plenty of clouds and maybe an isolated shower during the early morning hours. Temperatures in the 70s. By the mid to late morning hours, we're largely dry with temperatures in the 80s. I'm timing out the storm chances later in the day with future weather after the break.
Historians are learning more and more about the impact of LGBTQ+ people in our country's history. In honor of America's 250th, News 4 is wrapping up Pride Month with a special that looks at the queer experience, starting with a revolutionary leader you might not have heard about who helped America win the war. Tommy McFly traveled to Philadelphia to explore the life of Friedrich von Steuben.
The legacy of the Baron von Steuben is tremendous. I mean, he is not necessarily someone that you'll hear of as a founding father. He didn't sign the Declaration of Independence. He didn't write the Constitution. His influence on the American Army is greater than almost any other officer, American or foreign-born. My name is Tyler Putman. I'm the Senior Manager of Gallery Interpretation here at the Museum of the American Revolution. What we're trying to do is get people to empathize with people in the past, and sometimes those are people who look exactly like you, thought exactly like you, and other times they're the opposite, right?
I think what's interesting too about this place, you see a portrait that many of us have seen over the years. It's quite monochromatic.
It's accurate in many ways, but the army that marched into Valley Forge, the army that marched out, was not just white soldiers. You know, it's probably 10 to 20% soldiers of color, African Americans, Native Americans wearing Continental Army uniforms, Native Americans arriving as allies, hundreds of women and children who are working and traveling with the Army. And because it was a revolutionary time, it was an opportunity for people to erase their past, to escape the old parameters of Europe. Friedrich von Steuben, he was born in Prussia, in what today is Germany. He was born into a military family. Steuben arrives with respectable letters of introduction from familiar people like Benjamin Franklin, with the trappings of a soldier, and then he immediately demonstrates his legitimacy by reforming the army. So when you think about what the Continental Army was able to do after he arrives in 1778, It's a tremendous change from what it had been able to do before, and it's thanks to his skill and his ability to implement it, despite being someone who had no experience in America, who didn't speak English.
Is there any evidence of Ben Stuyven's past accusations about him coming with him across the ocean, that he may or may not have been gay?
Stuyven's sexuality is really hard to confirm in any way because there's no smoking gun that he had a sexual relationship with a specific man. And this is a time when the way people wrote, the way they moved around in public, didn't necessarily map onto our ideas of gay or straight. Throughout his life, there are examples and whispers and discussions, but it never seems to have been enough to derail his career in America. And honestly, it's only really in our time, when people have become more interested in sexuality and queerness as an identity, that people have kind of looked at all the evidence and stitched it together.
You can watch the rest of that story and many others this Friday night right here on NBC4. Our Pride special, Revolutionary, begins at 7:30. All right, we didn't have too bad of a day today, but I know things are changing. Some storms are coming our way for tomorrow.
Yeah, some rain and storms will impact the area tomorrow. Maybe a morning shower, but greater likelihood that we'll have some afternoon showers and thunderstorms around. But like you said, Sean, not too bad today. It's a beautiful night across the area. Again, I'm tracking some storms later in the day tomorrow. I'll show you that with future weather here coming up in just a moment. On Saturday, it's a tricky forecast, but you do want to plan for some rain. Right now, rain looks most likely during the morning and midday hours. And then on Sunday, plenty of clouds, but most, if not all of the day is looking dry. Your evening planner tonight is phenomenal. Temperatures will be largely in the 70s, so staying mild even after the sun goes down right after 8:30 tonight. As we look to tomorrow, the weather having a low to moderate impact on your day. It's warmer, it's humid, and then maybe a shower and some storms around later. A high temperature of 93 degrees after our official high today of 88. Here we are tomorrow morning with future weather, 6 a.m. I mentioned that chance for an isolated shower. You can see it's out there. Most of the area is dry, and also plenty of clouds to start the day on your Friday. Here we are, 8 a.m. A few showers here and there, but once we get past 8 o'clock, the entire region looks to be dry. Some sunshine develops around the midday hours. That sun, though, helps to fuel some late day showers and thunderstorms. So stopping future weather here around 2 o'clock. Storms starting to fire back over the mountains, areas like Luray and Winchester. 5 o'clock, notice some rain and storms moving through the D.C. metro area. The brighter colors indicating the potential for some heavy rain, maybe some strong gusty winds, but I'm not anticipating widespread severe weather at all later in the day tomorrow. As we head, though, toward your Friday night, 9 o'clock, it doesn't look to calm down. We'll still have some rain in spots overnight Friday on into Saturday morning. Look at this one computer model. This is 8 a.m. on your Saturday. Not just rain, but some heavy rain in parts of the area with the yellows, oranges, and reds there. As we head toward 10 a.m., still tracking rain, but notice after 10 a.m., we're largely dry. Still plenty of clouds. Maybe a few scattered showers and thunderstorms Saturday afternoon and evening, but a good chance that you're dealing with at least some rain on Saturday. The chance for rain tomorrow coming in at 50%, 70% chance for rain on Saturday, maybe an isolated thunderstorm on Sunday, and then next week it's all about the heat. Highs near 100 next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and a chance for storms on the 4th of July.
Amelia, thank you. All right, if today's district debut Fan Fest is any indication, this is going to be a fun environment for the Wizards at Capital One Arena this season. Number one pick A.J. DeBonce's introductory press conference, followed by a trip outside to see his adoring fans. J.P. Fenley was there for all the excitement today at the Wharf.
The district debut, that was a success. A.J. DeBonce gets welcomed to D.C. with hundreds of fans. Everybody was going crazy here to see the number one overall pick. The excitement for these Wizards fans is so real. But let's hear from the new rookie.
Yeah, I had a wild 48 hours. I mean, I got calls from teammates on draft night. I got in yesterday. I got in yesterday. I met the whole staff. I went to the war room. It was great. I went to Capital One. There was like I don't know how many people, like 150 people to say my name. I met the mascot. It was ridiculous.
Wrap your hands around them, show them some love, just like you guys have done with all of our other young players. Understand that it's not linear. It's going to take some time for him to develop the player he wants to be, but it's fun. I would say enjoy the climb because we're starting to ascend, and these are the memories that you remember on your way up to where we want to get to, and that's sustained success.
The goal is to win. Definitely want to make the playoffs and everything like that, but I mean, the fans have been waiting for it, the city have been waiting for it, so I'm just ready to get going.
The arrival of A.J. DeBonta means Wizards fans believe it's playoff time. And trust me, the merchandise tent was going crazy.
I was wearing the John Wall jersey beforehand, and I had to switch to the A.J. jersey immediately. I love John Wall. A.J. is the future of our franchise. I'm so excited for what he's going to bring to this city, re-energizing the whole DMV. I mean, the turnout here today has been amazing.
I was just telling her, this is like we just drafted Michael Jordan. Like, this is the best thing that has happened to us as John Wall, and it's a new era for the Wizards.
It's crazy, you know, when you're young, you see everyone older than you getting drafted. It's like, oh wow, that's crazy. And now, the same age as me, he's getting drafted number 1. It's like, what am I doing?
Now, I found a model of the new A.J. DeBonta jersey. This is Terrell. You see, DeBonta's going to wear number 4. How did he arrive at that? Well, he was the number 1 overall pick, and in college he wore number 3. Even my math guy can handle 3 + 1 is 4. Covering the Wizards in D.C., I'm J.P. Finley.
Terrell Lomax.
And Terrell Lomax.
Terrell and JP, thank you very much. All right, still ahead, we have even more World Cup action tonight. Team USA is gearing up for its final group stage match. We're live in sunny Los Angeles right after the break. The U.S. men's national soccer team's had a dominant start to this year's World Cup. They've already won their group and clinched a spot in the knockout round. So tonight's match against Turkey is just a few hours away, but it means very little for that path forward in the tournament. Though if they were to win tonight, history would be made. Lolita Lopez is at Los Angeles Stadium with the preview of tonight's big match and why the team is still taking it seriously. Lolita, how's it going out there?
Oh my gosh, Sean, so much excitement out here. Yeah, it would be 3 wins in the group. That U.S. men's team has not done that in the modern era, and the fans are all here for it. I want to take you as we look at Los Angeles Stadium here, and people already lining up, even though we're a couple hours away. These fans are excited because their team is good. It has been a long time since the U.S. men's soccer team has been this dominant during a World Cup season, and it's bringing all of these people together behind the sport. For the U.S., 2 games, 2 convincing victories at the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
The United States finally is good at soccer like this. This is amazing. Loving it.
The team has already won their group and secured a place in the knockout round ahead of today's match against Turkey. Still, the U.S. wants to continue building momentum.
We want to arrive to the next stage with 3 victories if that is possible.
So we want to keep the winning mentality, keep that feeling going.
Good news for the U.S. Christian Pulisic, the team's superstar forward who missed the last game with a calf injury, back in training this week.
I'm pushing every day so that I can be available for this next game.
For today's game, some U.S. players are likely to be rested to avoid possible injury and additional yellow cards, which would keep them out of the next game.
And I think that is a little bit a normal and easy answer. That not to play with them from the beginning.
For U.S. soccer fans, the team's winning start has them eager for what's ahead.
We love to watch them. I can't wait to see how far they go.
USA! Success on the pitch, fueling excitement off the pitch. As you can see, it's windy out here, but there's so much more sunshine and that excitement and energy to boot. Okay, game time, 7 o'clock local time here, USA versus Turkey, and everybody is gearing up for it. We are live at Los Angeles Stadium. Lolita Lopez. Sean, back to you.
Lolita, thank you so much. We are fired up. Hopefully we win. Thanks for joining us tonight. And we want to hear from all of you watching right now. How far do you think the U.S. men's national team will go in the World Cup? Right now, it looks like the majority of you are saying to the quarters. I can't believe only 13% of you say all the way. You can vote right now by just picking up your phone, scanning the QR code on your screen. You can also go to NBCWashington.com/vote. Just a reminder, you can watch all of the World Cup action on Telemundo and on Peacock. Thanks so much for joining us. That'll do it for the News 4 Rundown on this Thursday night. We hope you will join us back here tonight for News 4 at 11. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you later.